Welcome to Little Big Thumbs. My name is JP, aka Big Papa Thumbs.
And my name's Milo, aka Milo.
Today we are here to talk about Disney Villainous. Not only the game itself, but we are going to run down our 3 favorite villains from the game. Now, I'm actually going to defer the bulk of this conversation to Milo, because Milo is the villainous expert at this table, and I'm someone who enjoys the game, but I'm not nearly as passionate and invested in the game system. So Milo, for folks who may not be familiar with the Disney Villainous game system, can you give us sort of in a nutshell what this game's all about?
As you might be able to tell from the title, this game is about villains, specifically villains within the Disney realm. And I say realm specifically because that's part of the gameplay. Each villain you play has their own realm of different locations and, like heroes and allies and all that stuff. What you're doing as that character is following the storyline of whichever movie that character is from. Each location that is in your realm, like on your board, has different actions available. So it's also really cool that you need to really plan out your turns in advance, because you'll need to move to certain locations to do specific actions. Not every action is available at each location. Some locations only have a couple of actions, but they might be really powerful actions. That's a little glimpse at the game. I could honestly talk about Villainous forever. It is one of my favorite games by far.
And so now we are each going to run down our top 3 villains to play as in Disney Villainous. My first villain to talk about is the one I think that we would probably both suggest that a new player to the Villainous system starts with, and that is Prince John. Prince John. The neat thing about Prince John is the simplicity of this character. The goal when you're playing as Prince John is simply to amass 20 power, 20 gold essentially, for Prince John at the start of your turn. Everything in the game, everything in Prince John's game is all about acquiring that money, that power. And even when your opponent plays those fake cards onto Prince John's board, there was a way to extract money from those characters to increase his wealth even further. It's really simple to get into. If it's your first time playing, just get more money, get more power. That's the goal of Prince John. And so that's why Prince John is my number 3 favorite Disney Villainous character to play with.
Yeah, I highly recommend Prince John. Like JP said, super easy to get into, very straightforward, and a ton of fun too. My third favorite is Radigan. So Radigan is from The Great Mouse Detective, a little bit of a lesser known Disney film. I was going to say creepy, but like probably not creepy now that I'm an adult, but scarred me as a child. Great movie though. Radigan, you are trying to take over the world of like mice and rats, and there are 2 different ways of doing that actually. You have like one specific goal, and like after a certain period of time, I don't want to spoil anything here if you haven't seen the movie or played the game, but after a certain period of time, that one goal isn't available anymore. So your goal switches, and it's similar to the first one, but there's like a plot twist. And I say plot twist because it's exactly what happens in the movie, and I don't want to spoil anything, but I really like playing with him because of that plot twist. It's really fun to say, okay, cool, like I'm almost there, I'm going to win, and then all of a sudden you have to change your plans, and it can be really fun to adapt to and say, okay, that's not what I expected to happen, but I'm gonna continue on and hopefully win. So that's Radigan.
My number 2 favorite Disney villain to play with is Ursula. And Ursula, of course, is from The Little Mermaid. And in Disney Villainous, as Milo mentioned, there are those various actions that players are going to be activating throughout the game. One of those is the move action, which allows a player to move typically allies and items around the board in their realm. And Ursula's whole goal is to move the trident and the crown to Ursula's lair, and then also draw King Triton there and defeat King Triton with the crown and the trident. And it's a tricky thing to make happen, but you've got to use that move action effectively and efficiently throughout the game in order to set up that win condition. And when I first played Villainous, I thought the move action was kind of boring. I didn't understand quite why it was there. Mm-hmm. And then I played Ursula, and I got it. And I thought, wow, this is so neat that this one particular action is really powerful for one character, and maybe it's a little bit downplayed in another character. And so that unique way and that one particular action is used is why Ursula is my number 2 Disney villain to play as.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely appreciate how versatile the actions are. Like you said, like how some of them are more important for certain characters. I really love that the designers did very well with just creating this game where they can continue to bring more and more characters to play as, and it's never going to get old because every character you play can be completely different. The replayability on this is just, it's incredibly high as it is, and as they come out with more and more expansions, the replayability is just going to continue to increase. So, yes. My second favorite villain to play is Cruella de Vil. So, to tell you the truth, Cruella is my favorite villain in terms of Disney villains. She's my second favorite to play in Villainous, though. That's largely because my number 1 is just, you'll see, just too much fun to play. So Cruella is, as you'd expect, trying to get puppies. So in her game, you're trying to collect puppy tokens, and you have your 2 henchmen that you can like send out and try and take puppies from other locations. So there's like a couple of different ways of gaining these puppies, and they leave it at that. They don't say you have to do anything with the puppies. You just win once you like have them. But yeah, she's really fun to play just because of the like henchmen and how there are like multiple ways of getting the puppy. So if one way doesn't work out, you can explore that other avenue. She's just really fun to play for that reason. But again, I also just love Cruella. She's scary, and if she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will.
I've not had the chance to play with Cruella in a game of Villainous before. I'm really curious to see how that plays out, and those puppy tokens sound really interesting to interact with. Yeah. All right, my number 1, my favorite villain to play Disney Villainous with is DrFacilier from The Princess and the Frog. And what's unique about this villain is that he's got his own special fortune deck that lives outside of the realm and the player board, and DrFacilier is looking to rule all of New Orleans. And so he wants to get a hold of the talisman and have that in his realm, but also he needs to send some of his cards into this fortune deck. And there are also negative fortune cards that might wind up in there that are going to slow him down. However, if DrFacilier winds up with the talisman on his side of the board, and also manages to draw the Rule New Orleans card from the Fortune deck, then he does indeed rule New Orleans and becomes the most powerful deity in the land. And that extra deck that you build and you live outside of your player board is a unique element. And I found it really fun to play DrFacilier, and that's why he's my #1 character to play in Disney Villainous.
He's a lot of fun to play, and I enjoyed watching you play him. I could see, you know, the gears turning, and like you played him really well. He won, and it was a ton of fun. My #1 villain to play with is the ever sarcastic and bitter flaming hothead Hades. So Hades is obviously from the Hercules story. Hades' whole thing is that he needs to start his turn with the Titans at the end of his realm. So the realm is your player board. And as the game goes on, the different Titans will come out of your deck, and each of them have like a special ability, which I really love playing with. Because each of them is so unique from the others. There's, you know, like clever quotes on his cards too from the movies, which I really enjoy. He's just like, he's a really funny character in the movies, and he's a ton of fun to play with in the game. Not just because of his Titans, but he also has a chariot that he can like ride around on. And because of the chariot, he can get to other locations very quickly. It's just very convenient. Anyway, Hades is my #1 villain to play.
So those are our top 3 villains to play as in Disney Villainous. And of course, we want to know what villains you enjoy playing with. So we'd love for you to go into the comments of this YouTube video, tell us your favorite Disney villain to play with in this game, and tell us why maybe we're wrong about our choices for the game. We want to have that conversation with you. If you liked this video running down our top 3 Disney villains, give us a like. Like the video. Let us know. And most importantly, if you are enjoying the Little Big Thumbs content that we're producing, please go and hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you along for the ride. Thanks for joining us for this video, and until next time, this is JP and
Milo.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.